Today's thought of the day is so very deep. Healing begins with self acceptance. Self acceptance is not actually a destination, it's the warm bed where healing finally learns to rest. And today we are going to explore why the journey to becoming your best self begins not with fixing what's wrong with you, but with embracing what's already right. So, how many of you have ever stood in front of a mirror and immediately started a mental inventory of everything you would like to change? Of course, about yourself. Now, your skin, your weight, your achievements, your personality, even your life choices, right? We do that. And now imagine if instead of that mental criticism, you looked in that mirror and said, "Hi, beautiful. I see you trying so hard. I'm so proud of you." Sounds impossible. By the end of today, it might just sound like the beginning of your healing. So here's something that might surprise you. Acceptance is not about settling or giving up. It's about finding the solid ground from which real growth becomes possible. Think about it like this: you can't build a house while simultaneously trying to demolish the foundation. Yet, that's exactly what we do to ourselves. We try to improve while constantly rejecting who we are right now. We find faults with ourselves all the time. Let me talk about Ravi, a 24-year-old software engineer who hates his social anxiety. Every day he tells himself, "I'm so pathetic. Normal people don't get nervous talking to colleagues. I need to fix this." He reads self help books, watches confidence videos, tries breathing techniques, all while maintaining a running commentary of self criticism. And after 2 years of working on himself, he's more anxious than ever. Why? He was doing all that stuff because he's been trying to heal something he fundamentally rejects. So now imagine if Ravi said instead, "I have social anxiety. That's okay. It kept me safe in many situations. It made me a good listener and more empathetic to other struggles. I accept this part of me. And from this place of acceptance, I can gently explore ways to feel more comfortable in social situations." And this isn't giving up on growth, it's creating the conditions where growth becomes possible. We cannot heal what we keep rejecting. And this is the fundamental law of emotional healing. And most of us are unknowingly breaking it every day. Indian families were especially skilled at rejection disguised as motivation. Sharma's uncle's son scored 95%. You got 87%. You need to work harder. Look at Priya. She's so fair and slim. Why don't you take care of yourself like that? We learn that love and acceptance are conditional on improvement. Meera, a college student, carries this voice internally now. She's got a B plus on her presentation and immediately thinks, "I'm so average. I'll never get into a good company with grades like this. I'm disappointing everyone." She spends the evening in self criticism, completely missing the fact that she overcame her fear of public speaking and delivered her ideas clearly for the first time. So her healing journey can't begin from self rejection. It begins when she says, I gave a presentation despite being terrified and I got a B plus. And I'm learning and growing. And I accept where I am right now. And I'm curious about how I can improve next time. So let's talk about the physical rejection. We reject our bodies for not looking like Instagram models, forgetting they carry us through every day, heal from injuries, and house our beautiful minds. And then comes the emotional rejection. We reject our feelings. I shouldn't feel sad. I have so much to be grateful for. Instead of honoring that, our emotions are information about our needs and experiences. And then comes the achievement rejection. We reject our accomplishments as not enough while moving the goalposts constantly. Like Arjun finally gets the job he wanted and then immediately focuses on not being promoted fast enough. See, self criticism. The real healing magic happens when you start loving the parts of yourself you have labeled as unlovable. This doesn't mean loving everything you do, it means loving the human being who's trying to figure life out, your mistakes. Instead of, I'm so stupid for trusting the wrong person, try saying, I trusted someone because I have a generous heart. And that generosity is beautiful. So even when it leads to disappointment, I'm learning discernment while keeping my heart open. And your struggles. Deepika has been dealing with depression for months. So instead of, I'm broken and weak, what if she said, I'm going through something really difficult and I'm still showing up every day? And that takes incredible strength. And I honor the struggle as part of my story. And then comes your imperfections. Somebody stutters when he's nervous, and he's been ashamed of it since childhood. But what if his stutter is just his nervous system being honest about feeling overwhelmed? What if it's actually endearing evidence of his authenticity in a world full of people pretending to be perfect? And then your past. Anita made some relationship choices in her 20s and that she regrets. She's been carrying shame for years. But what if those experiences taught her what she truly values? What if her mistakes were actually her younger self doing the best she could with the information she had? You are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. And these aren't contradictory states. They are the natural rhythm of being human. So let's try something that might feel uncomfortable but could change everything. This week, I want you to practice the mirror exercise. What you have to do is stand in front of the mirror, not to check your appearance, but to connect with your soul. Look into your eyes and say aloud, I see you, I accept you, and I'm proud of how far you have come. I repeat, you have to say this to yourself aloud. I see you, I accept you, I am proud of how far you have come. And then notice what happens. Does your inner critic immediately jumps in with, but you haven't come that far? Or you still have so much work to do? That's normal. The goal isn't to silence that voice immediately, but it's to offer an alternative. So try adding, I see that you're trying so hard to be better, to do right, to make others proud. I see your efforts, even the ones that don't show. I see your heart, even when it's hidden behind fear or anger or sadness. So just simple acceptance of who you are, not criticism. So journal about how this felt, what resistance arose, what surprised you, and what would it mean for your life if you could look at yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend going through exactly what you are going through. So when you stop trying to earn your own acceptance and start offering it freely to yourself, everything shifts. You stop seeking validation from others because you're not withholding it from yourself. You stop fearing failure because you know your worth isn't determined by your performance. And self acceptance isn't narcissism or complacency. It's the radical act of saying, I'm worthy of love and healing exactly as I am right now. And that worthiness doesn't depend on my achievements, appearance, or approval from others. Remember this: you're not a problem to be solved, you're a person to be loved, and especially by yourself. That's why self care, self love keep coming in our sessions. Your scars are not the signs of failure, they're evidence of survival, they're evidence that you made an effort. Your struggles are not proof of weakness, they're proof of your humanity. Your imperfections are not flaws in your design, they're what make you beautifully, uniquely you. So here's your gentle challenge. This week, catch yourself in one moment of self rejection and then take a pause. Ask yourself, what would I say to my best friend if they were going through exactly what I am going through? Then say that to yourself instead. So healing begins the moment you stop waiting to be perfect to deserve love and start offering love to create the conditions of healing. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be seen, accepted, and loved. And it starts with how you see, accept, and love yourself. So make yourself at home in your own heart. Healing has been waiting for you there all along. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.